Hey guys, this is James, the non-professional, back with another episode of Draw, and today we're drawing the Silver Surfer. Today, I wanted to focus particularly on drawing metal. Obviously, he's silver, and so you're going to get a lot of reflection and a lot of shine. And to make the metal look aesthetically appealing, and at the same time, people can understand that it's actually metal. It takes a lot of trial and error. It did for me, and hopefully, I can get you guys a little bit one step closer to getting it right. One of the professionals that I've seen do comic books, one of the greatest examples of drawing metal is when Jim Lee was doing the X-Men series, and you would see him draw Colossus. Colossus had, excellent looking metal, aesthetically appealing and very believable looking metal. And it could have been, Jim Lee's inker that made it so exceptional. I don't know. But it's a good example to follow, to look at, and try to emulate in your own drawings. So we did just finish up with the roughs here. Now we're in lines. So let's pin down those hard lines and, let's make the details a little bit more finite. As you can see, this is my millionth attempt to draw the, sort of upturned head, or the head sort of looking up. And you watch my previous videos, that angle of a face just annoys me intensely. I have such a hard time doing it. I think I did okay here. The nose is a little too piggish, I guess, or just sort of upturned, but I do correct that later on, and it ends up looking a little bit better than that. But anyways, if you notice in the roughs, I do draw a little bit of the metal shine and the metal reflection. Certainly nothing close to what the end result's going to be. And when we get to that sort of shine, there's a technique that I use that seems to be pretty effective. So we're going to do hands here. And with hands, guys, you just got to learn how to draw in sections because it is difficult. Hands are something that most artists, even Da Vinci, I heard, had difficulty drawing hands. And one of the critiques about his drawings is that his hands were often too big. And I remember looking at a Da Vinci notebook, and the notebook showed a bunch of his little doodles and drawings and rough sketches and stuff like that. And it shows him trying to draw hands, over and over again, I guess, because hands, again, they're just something that, is difficult to learn, something that you have to, be persistent in trying to understand. It took me a long time to understand how to draw hands, and I've become somewhat competent in drawing hands, I guess, at least in my opinion. But even still, I have to draw it over and over and over again to get these things right. All right, so we're in the metal shine here on his face, and one of the key tricks to getting metal right is use a fatter lead or a fatter pencil. Things that mark a little fatter. If you notice, see everything, I'm not using that really thin lined pencil anymore for my lines. I'm using fatter lines. And one of the other rules for drawing metal is you're going to have all these swishy, flowy lines all over the place. I get it. But basically follow the reflection all the way down the face. Follow the reflection all the way down the neck. Follow the reflection all the way down the pec, and then, of course, all the way down the abs. Don't just jut across the middle of the face or jut across the middle of the neck and put one of those reflective lines. Just have it, ebb and flow sort of around the contours of the muscle, and have it go from top to bottom instead of just jutting across the body with some reflection. Now there are exceptions to that rule every now and again, but generally you just want it to go from top to bottom. At least that's how I do it. And we'll get into the reflections more in the inks. One of the things I do want to mention about inks or before you do metal is go ahead and ink in the muscles how you would if you weren't putting metal in, because you're going to use those things for largely the reflections are going to cover those lines, but you're going to use those things to guide your reflections and guide the details of the metal. Because again, you're going to draw these reflections and you're going to draw these details, these, highlights and whatnot. And they're going to be sort of curving or accenting the form of your figure. You see how around his eye is the muscle above his brow, and of course his cheekbones. You see the lines sort of flow in those directions, and they always go from top to bottom. Even though they vary left to right every now and again, they only slightly vary. They generally go from top to bottom. And you see the muscle there around see how the lines sort of curve the pecs there. And see, I tried to go across the middle of the pec and it just didn't look right. I tried to go left and right across that pec and it just didn't look good. So, I just, I erased that and backed off from that. And if you see there, the abs, that's why it's important to go ahead and draw or ink the muscle how you would draw it, or you would ink it even if you weren't going to put metal. Because again, it's an easier guide when you actually have those lines there. And I went ahead and threw some shading under his hands in order to develop some contrast, because everything just looked like a very busy metal. Anyways, persistence, patience, perseverance, that's how you mature in any endeavor. Hey guys, if you like my content, please like or comment below. And if you want regular updates, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.